Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Albers, and welcome here to the This Week in Anderson with Big Eye Sports Podcast on USBN Sports. And I'm joined always with my co-host is Steve Ellis. And Steve, you and our next guest we've known for a really long time. We've known him as a player, as a coach, administrator, and just watching him in all three, it's been pretty cool. So we got a great guest in Joe tonight.
Really excited to have him in your studio here, Danny.
Yeah, again.
In the USBN
Number
studios.
2, baby.
Number 2. Yeah, we're actually in person, but our next guest here, we're going to get into his career and everything. But I tell you, Danny, what a great career and a model. Just a guy from Anderson, a great guy that did everything right, the right way with the family, with his coaching, and with his career, and with teaching, and everything that involved. And now he gets to retire and enjoy the good life.
Absolutely. So, as we said, joining us as our guest here is Joe Moon. Joe, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. I'm really excited to be here and been looking forward to it.
Yeah, so are we. I know we've been trying to kind of connect for a while. It's been a little bit, but everybody's been busy with the basketball and everything that's going on. But so we always kind of start this off, Joe. Talk about growing up in Anderson and what side you. Because everybody. It's kind of funny when we're talking. I lived on the Summit side. I lived on this side. Just talk a little bit about growing up in Anderson, where you lived.
Well, I grew up on Hawkstone, which down off of Salem and Sutton, and talk about a great neighborhood. We had at the time it was brand new. Now it's 40 years old, 50 years old, whatever it is. But we had some names: the Millers, Bill Miller, Joe Miller,
right?
The Kitts Millers, Paul and John, and Tim and Dave, and just a bunch of those our age group kids, the Leisures, and go on and on, the Taylors. So it was like just 3 streets, but it was like one big family. It was pretty cool growing up there, and you never had to worry about being outside or anything like that. We'd travel around to go over to 4 Mile and ride our bikes and things like that. So it was a great experience growing up in Anderson and living here all my life.
Yeah, that's a common theme that everybody says when we've talked to every guest, Steve and Joe. It seems like everybody's always said the same thing. All the great neighborhood, great friends. We always rode our bikes. We always played. And everybody says playing outdoors. Now you're not going to probably get that. If we did this podcast 20 years later, they're all playing Nintendo and all that stuff. But that's pretty cool that your neighborhood and our neighborhoods are all kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just the way it used to be. And it was a lot of fun growing up, and just the way we were raised, and people that influenced us growing up in Anderson was great experience.
Yeah. Did you have the street light rule about coming in?
We didn't have street lights.
No street lights in Hawkstone.
And I was the youngest of 4, so I was spoiled, and I just stay out till whenever I wanted to.
Look at this guy.
My older siblings had to be in, but I was good.
That's funny.
So as you were growing up in Anderson and down off of Hawkstone there, what sports were you involved with growing up?
Started playing soccer when I was 5. Played all the way up till I was in my 20s. Basketball, of course. Played. Frank and I were just talking about it last night. We were on the same 5th grade team.
Oh, he didn't figure that out, huh?
He didn't remember that.
Nice.
But, and Dana Brown was on that team too.
Really? Who's your coach?
Al Simone.
Mr. Simone.
Remember Al Simone?
Yeah.
And Dana's dad was the assistant coach, and I don't remember how we were. But
I think Mr. Simone ran the concessions before Mom and Dad did.
Did he really?
I think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, if I'm thinking the right name.
Yeah, it was a good start to the career. So.
Yeah, and soccer. Who'd you play for in soccer growing up?
Oh man, I played for a lot of different people.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wanted me.
So last on the list, and just we'll take that guy.
Yeah,
we'll take him.
He'll play goalie, so we'll just stick him in there.
Well, as we've talked about a lot, how things have changed over the years. The teams you played on were probably neighborhood kids, as opposed to playing the select teams, and now where you're playing with kids from Mason and Lakota and everything like that, right?
Oh, absolutely. And guys that we grew up with. And went to high school with, or they went to Turpin or McNick, and so you knew them through that. Played baseball with a bunch of guys. I played on a Turpin team. It was mostly Turpin guys, but I knew those guys in high school and later on. So great experience. Yeah, growing up and just the amount of opportunities that we had, and they still are out there. But Select definitely does change things from the neighborhood feel.
So I want to stick with the sports, but one thing we haven't asked a lot of people, Danny, is growing up and getting to the middle school age.
Oh yeah.
We keep forgetting about Anderson Middle School. What do you remember about the Anderson Middle School days?
How small the hallways were.
Yeah.
Even back then, I mean, when we were all smaller. But you mean as far as sports goes?
Both. Sports, school.
Well, let me put it to you this way. I wasn't quite good enough to make the 7th grade basketball team.
Okay. For Henry Pell?
For Henry Pell.
Yeah.
Was it Jerry
No, that might have been like Frickman
was
in
8th grade.
Clarkston back then.
Yeah. And then 8th grade, wasn't quite good enough to make the team.
Okay.
9th, and I loved playing basketball. I mean, Kiwanis all the way through.
Yep.
And so 9th grade, tried out again. I just wouldn't quit and got cut again.
Okay.
So there's no Michael Jordan story here.
You pushed through here.
Yeah, definitely not. So I got cut from the freshman team, and then luckily Dr. Sander and Mr. Center gave me a shot, and for that I'm eternally grateful.
Yeah.
I mean, just even though I didn't play a whole lot, just being a part of that team. As a matter of fact, a bunch of us are going out this weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Jim Dayton's coming into town.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so we're going out with Dave, Will Price, and Cameron DeVente's coming down, Dan Fleming.
Oh, that'll be a blast.
Yeah, we get together as much as we can.
That's awesome.
To this day. So without that opportunity as a sophomore is my point. So as when I got into my coaching, it was kind of like, man, I just want to give this kid a shot.
You're right.
You never know what's going to happen.
Nope. You're exactly right.
And even though I didn't play a lot,
right.
I'd come home, my dad would always say, someday you're going to be the coach.
Yeah.
Someday you're going to be the coach. And I don't know if that's why I decided to be the coaching and teaching. But yeah, it was definitely a great experience. Absolutely.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, you were a part of and coached some great teams in basketball and in soccer. Who was your coach in soccer?
It was
Philpott.
When we started out, it was
Morton.
Glenn Morton.
Yeah.
And Bill Hannikin was my JV coach.
Yep.
Wild Bill Hannikin.
Oh, yeah.
Wild Bill.
That's right.
Wild Bill.
Hope he's not watching. And then it was Philpott.
Philpott?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
there's some good teams back then.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did not win the league our senior year, but we ended up in second. It was kind of heartbreaking because we lost a game to Mount Healthy that we shouldn't have lost. So
in soccer?
In soccer,
yeah.
Now basketball is a little different.
Well, let's talk basketball.
Yeah.
So in basketball, your senior year, you guys were really good. I'm not sure if you guys won the league and the city.
We won the league. We were second in the city behind Elder.
Behind Elder?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, how was that experience with Frank and all those guys and, obviously Coach Sanders?
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, the like I said, the guys that we played with a lot of us are still in contact, so that's extremely important. But we had just a great group of guys and a great group of players. Mm-hmm. The juniors kind of pushed the seniors my senior year.
Right.
Frank and Fergie and Ronnie and
how were those practices?
Joe Dayton.
Yeah.
And Tony Dunaway. So they were pretty competitive. They were very,
I bet.
Yeah, they were very competitive. So
a lot of athletes on that court.
Oh, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Pretty deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, think about that.
I mean, that always goes down. I know we've always talked about it. It's a time when we were in 8th grade and 7th and 8th grade, and something I'll never forget are those teams just going in those packed gyms and just how crazy everything was, and you just were sweating profusely in those gyms.
Speaking of that,
here we go.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen this before on the show. I know Steve has one.
Yes. Look at that one.
Look at that.
The terrible towel.
Yep. Another one bites the dust.
It is 40 years old, actually. So.
Wow.
And I'm taking bids on it.
So Joe, do you remember how all that got started and after the game when you guys would win and Stanley, who's still there, would play it in the gym?
Yeah, I remember that.
And I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
But it was before the game, too.
Did they play before the game?
Oh, yeah.
When they were warming up.
But I remember after the win, another one bites the dust. And it was just on, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
It just became the theme song like it was with the Pirates with We Are Family. It was just like the theme song for Anderson basketball. I mean,
Well, and it was a popular song at that time.
Yeah.
You know, and so
that's pretty cool. You got the towel though.
That's pretty awesome.
You got one
I
too.
thought I was the only one.
Well, no, you got the towel, but you got some other stuff too, don't you? Got the old uniform or the?
So I was gonna wear this tonight.
Let's hold that up.
And
look at that.
Basically, we would have gone to an R-rated show.
Or probably try X.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But there's the original.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Shorts.
Outstanding.
Yes.
What'd you say? 1980 was the first year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I did not steal these from when I graduated.
Yeah.
By the way, I was
Look at that.
given them. So that's my uniform.
That is so cool.
You still got a little blood stain on yours from
Yeah,
diving on the floor.
Or coffee.
Well, yeah, that or
Lipstick.
Lipstick.
Yeah, no, paying money.
Yeah.
No, I think that's actually. I don't know what it is. It's bench goo.
It's the M&Ms.
Yes. It's ketchup.
Ketchup from the hot dog.
That's kind of what I used to do. So, Joe, let's get into, after your playing days, you got into coaching both basketball and soccer. Talk a little bit about your path and how you got into coaching and, getting started and all that.
Well, so I came back from Miami to go to UC because they dropped my program up at Miami that I wanted to get into. And I was fortunate enough that Mr. Philpott was still the soccer coach, and they needed a JV soccer coach. So they hired me at 19 as the JV soccer coach while I'm in the education school at Education College at UC. And I just got to tell a little story. I had one of the most outstanding left wings in all of Anderson High School history of soccer. And he's sitting right here to my right.
Yeah.
Mr.
Okay.
Hold on. Steve Ellis.
Hold on. Time out.
money out.
So did he give you money? Did you guys exchange texts before this and say, hey, man, say something about me on this podcast?
Just a little. But
Yeah.
No, he was so good that you don't run plays in soccer.
Yeah.
We ran a secret play. First, do you remember that?
No.
Well, a secret play because he had the best left foot ever.
Yeah.
And we would run this secret play just to get the ball across to Steve by himself so he could rip another goal.
Look at that.
So,
and then he quit.
And then he quit.
I'm done.
Yeah, and then he quit. Senior year, he didn't. I don't want to play anymore. Yeah. He must not like my play.
No, that was so much fun.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough that Coach Mike Center was still coaching at Anderson. He was the girls' head coach, and he hired me as the JV girls coach again at 19. So, but that was just the beginning of a 28-year coaching career with a 17-year career as an administrator, school administrator in between. So, man, I'm old.
I'll tell you what. We all are, man.
So, Joe, talk a little bit about that first year coaching. Obviously, being young and 19, as opposed to like your years. We're going to talk about coaching at New Richmond. I mean, how much different were you a coach, or how much more nervous were you and more excited than you were in the later years?
I was very nervous because I was brand new at 19 years old, coaching JV high school JV teams. So, but I felt like I had learned enough from my coaches that I could transfer that over to my coaching career. So, Andy Wolf. I did run track one year, by the way.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, my senior year. I was the high jumper, long jumper.
Nice.
Wow.
So, but anyway, Andy Wolf, Dr. Sander, Mr. Center, all those people, just
top
had
notch.
Such a huge influence on me, and that got me into when I finished with my degree. I got into a job at New Richmond, or I got a job at New Richmond. I was JV coach there for 5 years, I believe. I left to go out and coach with Phil.
Now, wait a minute. Back up a second. Weren't you a freshman coach at Anderson, though?
Yeah, yes. My third year there, I was freshman coach.
So you switched over from girls to the boys.
I did. And once again, I had two of the best players in the city of Cincinnati.
I wasn't on there.
You weren't? Yeah, you were.
Freshman year? No, wasn't me.
No, Danette was our coach freshman year.
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about when you guys were seniors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was definitely one of the top players in the city.
There it
You
is.
both of you.
Yeah,
That's what I was talking about.
Dominate, yep.
I mean, I remember who was it? David Dunaway?
Dave Dunaway, yep. Dave Dunaway, Jimmy Bell.
Jimmy Bell.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Jimmy Bell, Boomer.
Jeff Erickson.
Yeah.
There's some good.
I mean, I got those guys going. I really knew how to take that towel.
Hey.
And,
that was my job.
Yeah, that was mine too. So we're right there, Joe. I mean, right there. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, so I did coach freshman with Phil.
Okay.
And then after about 5 years at New Richmond as a JV coach, I decided to join Phil at UC Clermont, and that was just awesome experience. Of course, Phil was the head coach when I was a freshman coach, your guys'
Right.
coach. So there's always been that connection, and that's another one that has had a huge influence on my life. I mean, that guy has given me a chance after chance in different positions, not only at Anderson, but at UC Clermont as an assistant, UC Clermont as a head coach, which, of course, Steve is doing an awesome job with now.
Thank you.
And, I think my 8-22 record from my 1 year, that's what got you that national coach of the year. They were like, well, Joe Moon, Steve Ellis.
So you were JV at New Richmond, and you went to coach with Phil at Clermont?
Yes.
For how many years with Phil?
Actually, I was just there 1 year.
Oh, just 1 year. Okay.
At that time.
Okay.
And then the varsity job at New Richmond opened up, and I got that.
Okay.
Started about an 8-year career as the varsity coach at New Richmond.
What year was that?
Wow.
About?
Would have been 92.
I was going to say that. I was going to say like 92, 93.
Well, I was just getting ready. That was going to lead up to my next question to you. I tell you what, that game going out to Hillsborough was probably the most excited I have ever been for a non-Anderson basketball game, and I think I was more excited when I saw the llama on the way out.
Pam still talks about that. She's like, Danny was just shocked when he saw the llama.
Yeah. I mean, I was going nuts in the car. I think it was me and Dave. And
so explain where we were going.
So we were going to Hillsborough. New Richmond was playing Hillsborough for the league title, and I remember we left pretty early. I remember getting out there so we sat in the front row. I remember being in the front.
Yeah.
Front row, all of us were there.
We had a good Anderson crew there.
And
absolutely.
Yeah.
That was one of the best high school basketball games I ever. I mean, it was the place was electric. I mean, I don't know how you did. I would have been crapping all over the place. I mean, there's no way I could have done that.
Well, as Pete Gillen would say, it was a war because it really was.
Yeah. Thinking back on that, I mean, we were down 8 with a minute and a half left. And came back, and of course Johnny Duncan, my 6'6" left-hander, hit the bank shot at the buzzer. And I'll never forget, Danny was at the bottom of the dog pile. I'm pretty sure.
I was nuts. I was on the court. I know I was.
Well, it was incredible. But I'll tell you what an accomplishment, and I don't know how much people really appreciate the work and the effort that goes into that and winning the league championship, and whether you win 1 or whether you win 10, they can never take it away from you. It's a great accomplishment, and it goes down in history. So that was such a great and a cool thing for us to follow and be a part of.
Yeah. I appreciate you guys following us that year, and and beyond that too. I mean, it's we had 8 good years at New Richmond, and I was fortunate enough, I'm going to brag a little bit, but I was inducted into the New Richmond Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Deserving.
Back in 2015 for soccer and basketball.
Yeah.
So that was exciting. Definitely.
Do fans that eat the most popcorn get inducted like Dave Ball?
Oh, the dude knows his popcorn. He does. He can tell you like which one's the best.
At each place,
different high schools.
He would say, "I gotta get my corn."
Absolutely.
But he was your number one fan besides Pam.
Yeah.
But Dave was number one. He was Shooter. He'd be up there in the crowd. He would follow us everywhere. Yeah.
And he and I actually, do you remember he was my assistant coach when I was a freshman.
Yes, because you guys sat on the bench. He would come in all decked out and make Phil look bad on how he dressed.
I mean, he just great friend. Again, we played high school basketball together, and we've just always been.
It's very cool.
Yeah, and he followed us all the time.
So after.
I think it was more for the popcorn.
Yeah, I know it was for the popcorn. So after New Richmond, where did you go from there?
So after New Richmond, I went to UC Clermont. Was assistant to Phil again. And then when Phil decided to retire, I applied for the job and got it. So the reason it only lasted 1 year is I accepted an administrative position, and they wouldn't let me do both.
Right.
So, having been out of it for a while, I don't know if you guys are going to get to that, but
we are.
Okay. It's 17 years as a school administrator. So.
But real quick, go back to that New Richmond game real quick. What was that guy's name? Because it was awesome. There's that guy that played for Hillsborough. Was it T.J. Hill? What was that guy's name?
T.J. Turner.
And he was. I heard it. Unfortunately, he passed away. I heard, but he was good.
Yeah, he
played at Michigan State.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you remember their point guard, C.J. Captain.
I do. Yeah.
I mean, those two were awesome athletes. I mean, obviously T.J. Playing at Michigan State, linebacker for 4 years.
They look like men. I mean,
my God, TJ, he was huge.
Yeah,
I mean, and you guys did a pretty good job on. If I remember, I think you did a pretty good job on him. But that was just a great game. Sorry, I had to throw that in there because I just remember that guy stuck out with me too. I just remember that name and that guy. He was pretty awesome.
So, Joe, you coached at UC Clermont a couple of stints with Phil, and then you were the head coach for a year. Obviously, it's so much different now. Where I'm there because we have the bubble and it's a lot more different. When you were coaching there, talk about how different that was and what you had to do to find gym time and find players.
Well, that was an adventure.
Yeah.
We basically had to take whatever gym we could get, whenever we could get. But then the University of Cincinnati was nice enough to let us use Shoemaker Center. The only problem was we had to practice at 9:00 at night.
Okay.
So the 1 year I was an assistant principal at Turpin, and of course you got to be there at 6:30 in the morning.
Right.
And we're practicing from 9 to 11.
Yeah.
Wow. To this day, I don't know how I got through that year. But it was a great experience. Absolutely. I mean, we struggled getting numbers back then. Of course, no scholarships. It's just guys that want to play for the love of the game.
That's right.
But it was probably one of the best coaching experiences I've had because, I hate to say this, but I didn't have to deal with parents.
I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this. No.
I didn't have to deal with administrators.
People know what you're talking about.
It was all about coaching.
Yeah.
And because the kids that were there just loved to play. Troy Gertie. Andy Hollenbeck.
You had some talent. Do you think there was a big difference in how you coached in high school versus at Clermont?
Yes, probably just because, it's a little bit higher level, even at that time. It's a lot higher level now, I would say. But just dealing with guys that are in college is a little bit different than dealing with guys that are in high school.
Sure.
So even though there's not much of an age difference, but, I don't think I changed. Probably the biggest thing was and there's no excuse, but I didn't have an assistant coach.
Oh man, that had to have been hard.
So that makes it tough.
I had to be really careful on the technicals. And I remember there was one game we were playing. I can't remember where it was at now, but I'd gotten one.
Okay.
And I was close to getting a second. And a couple of my players came over and said, "Coach, if you get a second one, we're done.
We're done.
Yeah, there's nobody here to." At that time we were playing away, so there weren't a lot of people there.
Man.
So that was a little difficult, but absolutely a great experience. I loved every minute of it. Again, appreciate Phil for giving me the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Because that was always a dream of mine.
When you were at New Richmond, what did you teach?
I taught business education.
Okay.
So a lot of people would accused me of teaching typing, which it was, but
so you didn't teach foods or home ec or anything?
No. But
typing,
for everybody out there, that's a typewriter. Because we are old.
Keyboard.
That's right.
Keyboard. That's right.
And I taught computer applications. I taught accounting. I taught economics. I taught strategy of American business. So it was a wide variety of subjects. But honestly, the one that everybody comes back to me is like, I couldn't do it without your keyboarding class. Now these are older people.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know. That's what I should do because I'm a two-finger.
Yeah. Because nowadays they learn it.
Yeah.
At the age of 3.
So when you were teaching those computer classes, how different is that from now? I mean, what were you teaching at the time? Because that was just coming into play.
You're really going to date me here.
Yeah.
I started teaching on typewriters.
Oh, okay. So it was the actual typewriter. Yeah.
And I remember we got our first computers. I can't even describe how ancient they were. They were just giant boxes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Amber screens. And so it was just, it was totally different.
Did you learn typing from Miss Coleman?
I did.
Miss Coleman,
There's another huge influence on my getting into teaching.
Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. John Stowe,
John Stowe. God, I love that man.
Yeah. He was awesome.
So Joe, we talk a lot about your coaching, but I want to talk about your career because you had an unbelievable career from teaching and going to Live Oaks and Scarlet Oaks. Talk a little bit about how all that progressed and what that was like and how different that was for you, because you weren't teaching classes so much.
Well, I will say I've kept every note that I took as an administrator, and I'm thinking about writing a book.
Yeah, excellent.
I already have a title. It's called Swimming in Quicksand.
I love it.
I mean, that's kind of what being a high school administrator is. It's just one thing after another.
Right.
But that was kind of the great thing about the job. It wasn't the same thing every day.
Okay.
Sure. And the classroom wasn't either, but there were a lot of issues, but my time with the Oaks was incredible. Just the kids are awesome out there. They're all very focused on their career field. And of course, being actually a business ed is a vocational subject. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of my in to getting hired at Great Oaks.
Okay.
And, it's changed so much from when we were in school. It's just the kids are when they come there, they're there for a purpose, and that makes them focus.
Okay.
And they're just awesome kids. I mean, I loved working with.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, even the ones that got in trouble every once in a while.
Well, sure.
Because I remember I got in trouble a few times from Mr. Penwell.
Mr. Penwell. Yep. Yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm sorry.
Yep.
Sorry. Yep. I was sorry to hear you.
All those great ones, man.
Yeah.
All good ones.
Yep.
What do you got there, Danny?
No, that's you, brother, isn't it?
What is it? No. Okay. Oh, I was looking at this last one here. All right. So Joe, I want to talk a little bit about your family.
Okay.
And you have a wife that went to Anderson.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have a daughter that excelled at Anderson and in college.
She did.
And you had a mom that worked at Anderson.
Yep.
So I want to make sure we definitely talk about your mom, but talk about whoever you want to first, but I want to make sure you talk about your mom.
Well, since I'm retired, I better talk about Pam first. Since
that's a good call.
We're spending a lot more time
Smooth
together.
operator right here.
She is definitely the strength of my life. Not to get into too much detail, but she's had a lot of health issues, and to see her fight through that and continue to fight through it every single day.
Incredible.
She's amazing.
Yep.
She's
definitely agree on that one.
She's tough cookie, that's for sure.
So, of course, Hannah, my daughter, just got married in July.
Congratulations.
Happily.
Yes.
As far as I know.
Say what?
No, I'm just kidding. They are. She tells us that.
That's good.
But she is, again, the light of my life.
Yeah.
No question.
She has a talent for music, and she went to the University of Louisville and got her degree in music therapy. and is now an employed music therapist. And,
really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Awesome.
She's doing.
Is she in town or where is she?
She's actually in Louisville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of halfway between her husband's family and Cincinnati.
Okay.
So, because they're from Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Okay.
So they love Louisville, and Louisville's a great town.
Yeah.
I had never been down there till she went to U of L.
Okay.
Never.
You mean Dave Woolprice never got you down there?
He did not.
Wow.
I was surprised. And Dan Fleming's from Louisville.
Wow,
too.
I can't believe they didn't bring you to a game or.
Yeah, they didn't take me down there or anything.
That's surprising.
No, Louisville's a very cool city. There's a lot to do, and so they're very happy down there.
Good.
And
well, let's talk about your mom.
Yeah.
You know, what a legend she was and what all she was involved in at Anderson.
Well, so she started out as a library aide. I went to 4 different elementary schools.
You did?
Yeah, I didn't. Every time they built a new school in Forest Hills, they would send our neighborhood there.
Oh, really?
So I went to Westwood. That was out in Oklahoma for a year.
Okay.
But then Maddox, Sherwood, and Air. When Sherwood was open, they moved us there. When Air was open, they moved us there.
No kidding.
You missed the best one.
From Hawkstone.
No.
Summit was
Well, I married a Summit grad.
Yeah, there you go.
The Redmonds.
Huh?
Pam Redmond.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about that. It's not their nickname. They weren't the Redmonds.
So, but Mom, I always say she followed me around from school to school. So she was at quite a few different libraries for a while.
Okay.
And then she got a job working for the music department with another legendary teacher, Mr. Dick West.
Yep.
And she was there for 26 years.
Wow.
And she took over for another lady that had been there for like 26 years.
Wow. That's incredible.
And of course, Mr. West taught for 57
Right.
years.
Yeah.
So, but she just loved working there, loved the kids, loved helping Mr. West.
She's always there.
Music department, and got to know all the music teachers from around the district. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing was if I forgot my lunch money, I could just walk upstairs.
That's it.
But the other bad thing was, like senior skip day.
Yeah, she knew. Yeah.
Can't do that.
Right.
She's working there. And
Right.
They'd have got me out of East Fort.
I still would have done it.
We know that, Danny.
Yeah. I still would have.
I was kind of a rule follower. A rule follower.
So Joe, let's talk about how obviously we've been friends for a while, and the big thing that we always kind of talk about at some of the end of these podcasts is, Steve and I are still in Anderson. I believe you're still in Anderson too,
absolutely.
correct? Talk a little bit why you think Anderson is just like just a special place. I know it's been for Steve and I, and we bleed the orange and all that, but just talk a little bit about why you think Anderson's a special place, a special community.
Just the friendliness of the people, the caring of the people, and it's just a very I don't know how else to say it, but it's just a very tight knit community. And like I said, all of the great experiences we had growing up in Anderson, I hope the students now and the kids today are still having those experiences here. And I think they are.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of opportunity there. So
yeah, I totally agree.
It's weird because I always think now we're retired, or I'm retired, about moving. And, I don't want to move out of Anderson.
Right.
Because I've lived here all my life.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know some people call it the bubble or a bubble.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, it's a great bubble.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the thing, and we've brought this up several times, Steve and Joe, is that it's we were in '86, you were in and it doesn't matter, like Dave Woolprice, that's another one too. That and the age doesn't really make a difference, and it seems like everybody just pulls in together. I think that's what's really cool about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got friends from the mid '70s all the way up through. When I was coaching there and beyond. So, Brian Sullivan, for example.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, he played for me for 2 years. So.
Yep.
So another one, Danny, going back to what catching us up to date now and kind of coming full circle is that now with what the shirt you have on, that you are now on the bench with Frank Brandy for the boys varsity basketball team.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say. It's such a full circle to come back to where I started.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
I was so happy to hear when you were going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Frank called me in, I think, April last year, right after all the pandemic started, and we got together and talked, and the philosophies jibed very well, and I told him, I said, I don't want any pressure. I want him to have all the pressure.
Sure.
Right. I'll just do, I'll coach.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, 17 years out of coaching, it comes back fairly fast.
Okay.
But there's a lot of things that have changed in that time.
Right.
Especially, offensively, some of the things that they do now, the dribble drive, and where I ran the flex.
Right.
Virtually nobody runs flex anymore. So
just about. Yeah.
But Frank and I talked, and again, somebody that I played with in high school, and he fortunately gave me the opportunity to join him this year. It was a weird year, as you know.
Right. No fans.
How many games did you guys end up playing?
We played 14.
14 total.
Last year we played 29.
See, and we did get 21 games in. So, but with the pandemic, it was different.
Mm-hmm.
There was with the masks, and it made it a little bit difficult to communicate with the players sometimes. But we had an awesome group of guys.
Yeah.
The most amazing thing, they refused to lose, even in the best teams that we played.
Yeah.
Now there were a couple of games where the other teams were just better than us.
That much better, right?
But I mean, we came back against Kings this year. We were down 9.
I remember that.
And came back and won in overtime by 10. Down 9.
Wow.
A minute 30 left. I think maybe I could be flashing back to a different game. But I mean, I just have to thank Frank for giving me the opportunity. The coaching staff. One of the key things that I agree with Frank was get Anderson guys.
Yeah.
And so, of course, Bobby Mullinex is not from Anderson,
the one,
but he's been at Anderson for.
He may as well be because he's been there for 30 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Marcus Thompson.
Yep.
Who was an outstanding player at Anderson. He actually played semi-pro basketball.
Yeah. Yep.
Matt Huntington.
There you go, the best JV coach in the city of Cincinnati, right there.
Should have gotten some sort of award for. I mean, seriously,
he did a great job
with COVID and him being by himself, and he did an awesome job, and 15-3.
Yeah, and he loves it.
Oh, he did a great job.
He loves coaching with you guys too.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Good. I'm glad to hear that.
He's good.
I hope he does. You don't want to go somewhere else.
No, he's fun to be around.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty bright future too. Looks like all the teams have done pretty well too. The JV freshmen did pretty well too, I think. So they got a good group coming up.
We do. Freshmen, I don't know their exact record because they had 2 periods where they were off.
Right.
And that really kind of hurt their development a little bit. Mm-hmm. But when they did play, there are some pretty good players there. There's a good group of guys.
Good. Wow.
So you combine that with the guys we got coming back in the JV team was very strong. Right. And the freshmen, the future is bright.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're there, Joe.
Well,
so am I.
I'm glad to be back.
Yeah.
Just great year, great opportunity, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
So will you do me a favor? If I do sit behind the bench and you're on the bench, and if I say a couple things to do, will you do it? I mean, will you just if I just, hey, tell Frank to do, something like that. Just Frank might turn around and hear me and probably get pissed.
You can come down and whisper in my ear, and I'll suggest it to him. That's funny. And we'll see what happens. So
that's pretty good. Yeah. Well, we're gonna
run that play they used to run for me. Run Rocky Top.
That's good. That's it. So we try to always wrap these things up pretty cool. We try to get some of your favorite, your memories and everything. So like maybe a favorite high school memory at Anderson, or you can even go to New Richmond, and then maybe a favorite coach, maybe a favorite time as a coach too as well. Or the one thing that we try to do too is we've had a lot of good ones as favorite teacher.
Wow.
That could be tough.
That will be tough.
It may be more than one.
It could be more than one.
It could be a list.
Yeah.
Because we had some great ones. I really honestly believe that. So I'm sorry, what was the...
So like your favorite high school memory, either as a player or a coach?
Well, I have to say, obviously, my favorite high school memory would be meeting my wife.
There you go.
And
was that in class or where was that?
I think she bumped into me in the hallway. I think it was on purpose.
Yeah. Man, you're getting some serious brownie points on this tonight, man.
Meet me.
I was, but as far as athletics go, definitely senior year, playing Coleraine for the league championship. Yep. We had to win. And Coleraine had guys, I mean, they were monsters. They were like Eric Caddis, who played for the Bengals. Yeah. They had a guy named Bill Stellan, who was 6'11", a couple 6'7" guys. I mean, they were just giants. They were like a pro team. And we ended up beating them by like 10 on the last game of the year to win the league. So,
that's pretty cool.
And that's probably my best memory. Oh, I got to say one other one. My senior year, I was playing goalie, and we were playing Centerville, who at the time was, I believe, the top-ranked team in the state. And due to great defense, I actually got the shutout that night.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
So,
nice.
We won 1-0, and that was very memorable.
Very cool. That's a cool memory right there.
Yeah.
So what about favorite? Do you have a favorite coach or and a favorite maybe? You can multiple teachers, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say coaches. First of all, the people that I had in high school, Rob Philpott, Dr. Sander, Mike Center, Andy Wolf,
right,
and the list goes on and on. Teachers, I think I've already mentioned most of them, but I got to mention Bob Williams.
Yeah,
probably the most influential. I would say I'd give him the nod as the most influential reason that I got into education. Other than my dad, who was a college professor at UC, actually for 40 years. So, I would say I was kind of brought up to get into the education profession. So, and then to have all those great teachers, and then.
No, I think you got it. Just his favorite. We said favorite coach or teacher, and you pretty much hit it.
Yeah, if I forgot anybody, I apologize.
How about your favorite moment as a coach?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Winning the
Hillsborough.
It has to be Hillsborough.
Hillsborough game.
Yeah.
You wasn't coaching us when.
Well, I mean,
come on, Joe.
It was, but
and then that beat it.
Every time I give Phil a suggestion, he'd wave me off. So,
I don't know. That JV soccer team was pretty special.
Oh. I think we were like undefeated for a while.
Yeah, I think so.
After the first game.
And then you quit.
And then Steve quit.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I can't believe you didn't play.
Because I had no skills.
Hey, quitters quit.
Oh, you had an awesome left foot.
That was it. Yeah. That's all I had. That was done after that.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, I mean, it's just been a wonderful career. I hope it continues in the field of basketball. And
yes.
I hope... Frank will have me back.
I'm sure he
absolutely
will. We had a great year. It was, like I said, it was different, but at the same time, awesome.
Well, as you know, Joe, when you're coaching, whether you're the head coach or assistant coach, a lot of it, because of the time you spend, is about the guys around you and how much you enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And when you're the head coach, you got to be selective about who they pick, and obviously Frank was selective to get you and the other guys, and so that makes it half the battle, especially this past year with the pandemic and everything.
Yeah,
it makes it even tougher. So to have a good group of guys to be around, it makes the world a difference.
Oh, it makes it so much more fun. Mm-hmm. To be coaching with guys that you really enjoy spending time with, because you spend a lot of time with.
That's exactly right.
Even in the year of COVID.
That's right.
So
I'll tell you what, Joe, it's been awesome catching up. I swear we could probably talk for hours down here. I'm sure we could probably go on different subjects if we wanted to, but we'll do that for another podcast.
That might not make the podcast.
Those Sunday morning basketball games that we played.
We can recap the week. Yeah.
Can we talk?
Nah, it's awesome.
NRBA.
We really appreciate it. I think I played down there a couple of times.
Yeah, absolutely.
You did.
I ran up down to court one time. And that was
like
it.
a half a game.
Yeah, that's all I could last.
We ended up going 3-on-3 and
done.
Playing we'll play to 7 and then we're going home.
That's fun. That was a good time.
Yeah, it absolutely was.
But we appreciate it. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. So for Steve Ellis, Joe Moon, and Dan Albers, you've been watching This Week in Anderson. We'll catch you next week.